Welcome in, everyone, to Barely Educated, the podcast by Bears fans for Bears fans. We don't pretend to have any special access, but we have a good time. Mark, joined as always by my venerable co-host and full professor of something something music, fresh off his promotion, no longer second string. It's Chris Teichler. Chris, how are
Hello.
you?
Hey, I'm good. As long as venerable doesn't mean something bad. What
No,
does
it's supposed to
venerable
be
mean?
good. It's
Okay,
good.
all right, okay.
We're gonna try not to ask Chris any awkward questions about the Bears' second round draft picks. No, we're recording this Sunday, August 10th. Started it up during halftime of the Bears Dolphins preseason game because guys, that's what you should do during the preseason. Multitask.
Yes, absolutely.
And I love this team, I love this pod, but I was like, can I do this where I don't give up 5 total hours of my Sunday to the Bears in the preseason? Yes, I can.
Hmm.
So we're going to talk about the first half here in a bit and maybe see what's, do some play-by-play if there's worthwhile plays in the third quarter and on as we record. But I want to take us back first to the week that was in training camp because that's the actual story here
Do
since we
tell.
last talked.
Yes.
The Bears had what every beat guy was saying is like the most physical practice they've ever seen
Hmm.
on Tuesday, and then had a very important joint practice on Friday with the Dolphins. So they're not playing the ones because Ben Johnson thinks they got more reps this way, and they're going to get reps tomorrow as well against each other,
Hmm.
probably in shells, but not, full pad, won't be like full contact. And so that's part of that decision. We can come back to the decision, but I thought it was really interesting to hear that they were going that hard in practice. And Ben Johnson came in. He didn't talk about being a genius play caller. He didn't talk much about designing an offense that'll be a top 10 unit in the coming years or whatever. He came in talking immediately about what word? Accountability and culture. Words that I often find a bit hard for people to define when we talk about them in football. But he's setting a tone, and it's a great week for my take. It feels like years ago, months ago, when I was like, I don't know why everyone says he can't lead. There's no way. Remember this when I said that Ben Johnson running the offense for the Lions? There's no way Dan Campbell puts a little dweeby dude in charge of his offense.
Right.
And we see Ben Johnson has been on the players from the jump, and he's setting a tone. He's
Really?
making them actually accountable.
Yep.
He's getting up there and saying it was his bad a couple times too, actually showing accountability. Because here's the thing, Matt Eberflus, saying the word accountability is not actually being accountable.
Write that down, people. Yes.
Yeah, real genius stuff here. So I don't want them to do this all the time, but I like that he's setting a tone,
Hmm.
and I think that's important. And did you see Kevin Byard's comments
I
the other
did
day
not.
about it all?
Mm-mm.
He's like, this is as physical a practice as I've ever been in. And is he the most veteran player on the team? He's the longest tenured guy that's been starting alongside Grady Jarrett, right? Are they the same number of years in the league? I don't remember off the top of my head.
Close, if not, yeah.
But they're basically there for that same kind of leadership stuff. And then he went on to say, like, even Vrabel wasn't this physical. And I was like,
Oh.
Mr. Leadership that all the people wanted to hire that didn't want Ben Johnson. Now, a ton of us wanted Ben Johnson. I just thought that was great. Like, Kevin Byard, are you on Twitter too much, sir? Just happened to bring him up, of course, because he was on the Titans for whatever, 7 years or something. So I thought it was interesting. And
Yes, I did
then,
not hear that. No.
did you keep up with the Dolphins practice with the Dolphins?
A little bit. It sounded like, correct me if I'm wrong, but Tua had a bad day against the Bears defense. Is that
Three interceptions.
three interceptions?
I saw a nugget where he had theoretically only one in camp up to that point,
Hmm. And
which is
two
his
of,
deal, right? He's super accurate and careful with the ball.
mm-hmm, yep. And two of the three were taken back to the house, right? Pick sixes.
I don't remember if it was just one or two. I mean, I know the one at the end was,
Hmm.
and he juggled it, and the crowd went nuts, and it was Tremaine Edmonds.
Yeah, my guy, earn that contract, man. Come
They
on,
gave the Dolphins fits. So
that's beautiful.
we should talk a lot more about this practice. Before we do that, though, just in case, I don't want to assume. everyone is like aware of how big of a deal this is now. A lot of coaches are moving towards these being more important than the preseason games
Mhm.
because you run your ones against their ones. You talk beforehand about how many reps you want to run, and you more or less game plan. It's not out on tape for the whole world to see. And so these are more like important to many coaches now than the actual preseason games, which are really vanilla offense, defense, very little scheming. It's mostly to see the backups and young guys back of the roster. Hence us recording now as the second half kicks off.
Yep. Someone
So,
named Kim, number 27.
yes. And now George is in the booth doing
Oh,
George McCaskey things.
hi, George.
More
Did
on the booth in a bit too.
you say
So
moron in the booth? Is that what you said?
more on the booth. Well, there is a moron
Oh,
in the booth, but we'll get to that.
there's a couple, but yeah, we'll get
Yeah,
to
yeah.
that.
So the Dolphins Bears practice was more important for Ben Johnson, and what he got out of that would be something like the ones on the Bears D versus the Miami offense side of the field. The Bears handled business pretty convincingly. The other side, because actually they do it, they cut the field in half, and you've got both sides going up against each other. So you kind of have to read a couple different people to get a real feel for it because most the beat guys can only see one chunk. Anyway, the Bears ones on offense versus the Dolphins ones on D was more of a split.
Hmm.
Right, started with an interception, but Caleb did throw a touchdown, um, stuff like that. So, but if you're trying to like score that game and you're keeping along with the tweets, the Bears had like 3 or 4 total touchdowns before the pick six between their ones and twos, and the Dolphins had like one. I think it was like 28-10 or something.
Okay,
It's not really a real score because he
right.
was like working on stuff, but they took it to him. So that's at least somewhat encouraging.
Yeah, yeah, especially when the
Again,
Dolphins
we don't want
is.
to make too much of any of it, but
Yeah, the Dolphins are supposed to be a playoff team, so if they can, the Bears can hold their
supposed to be
own at
ahead of the
least.
Bears at this
Yeah,
point.
right. Exactly. Exactly.
They are firmly in that category of teams that are kind of like supposed to be a playoff team slash coach on the hot seat,
The
if not,
Dolphins.
right? Or
Yeah.
isn't he kind of one of those, but you wouldn't be that surprised if they went, 7-10, he gets fired kind of seasons. But they
Yeah.
could win 11 games and I wouldn't be surprised either.
Yeah.
But the
Hmm.
Bears out physicaled them. And I thought that was interesting. Coming out of how physical they were Tuesday, the Bears were ready to thump. And it didn't seem like the Dolphins were. So much so that their Dumbo beat reporter was like upset about how physical the Bears were in a practice. I'm like, this practice is like more important than the game, though. Like they both agreed to this, the
Right.
coaches. And I love Mike McDaniel, so I'm not trying to throw him shade. So all that sets up now whatever we want to talk about with this preseason game. The Bears, the part that mattered the most to the Bears, they came off pretty well on, and I think we can take some encouragement from that.
Okay. Were you disappointed Caleb wasn't playing today? I was a little, but I get it. I want to
Yeah, I
protect
think
him.
I have a more nuanced take on this particular year. I'm trying to like really gather my thoughts on this because we go through this every year. Should the starters play? God, they need to play, and everybody gets all mad. God, they're gonna get hurt, you idiot. It's just like we're gonna do this every year
Yeah.
as a fandom, as NFL nation, the whole country. Well, if Mahomes plays, so and so should play. Okay, well, the coaches are pretty much 50-50 on the whole thing, right? I was fine with how Ben Johnson explained it, which is that he's got a ton of reps already and he's going to get more Monday this way, and that's the way they were doing the math for this week. That answer seems to open the door for playing in some of the other games,
Yes.
and
True.
I would definitely like to see him at some point, even if it's just for a series or two, once or twice, the next two games, because I think the things he needs to work on can be worked on without having to do like some super game plan operation, checks at the line, in and out of the huddle quickly.
Yeah.
You can run him out there and hand it off 3 times for all I care if you want to keep him safe. And I probably would have done that this game, but I'm okay with Johnson's explanation. But because Caleb is still struggling according to the camp reporters with some of that, I think he needs live reps. And when did he suck the most consistently during games last year?
When did he suck the
He
most?
was horrible in the first quarter.
Oh yeah. Okay, I
And then he
got you.
was really good in the fourth, which
He
like
was
you
great in the
take
fourth.
that over the other way around. But
Absolutely.
don't you think that sounds like someone who needs to go through the process of getting into a
Yeah.
game as many times as you can? So I understand people wanting him to play, But the other angle to this is not getting enough attention. If your O-line starters and most of your weapons had two physical practices already in the week and one just a day ago, effectively, only had the Saturday off. Are you going to play your QB with the backups? I know Caleb's not getting hit, but do you really want Tooney out there after two hard practices already this week?
Yeah, very
And if
true.
those guys aren't out there, do you want Caleb out there?
Yeah, right.
So that's where I side with what Ben's doing there. But I'd like to see him at least in one of the games for a decent chunk of time because I think he needs that work.
Yeah, it used to be when there were 4 games. It used to be the third preseason game. The starters would play for like a half or almost a
Mm-hmm.
half. So maybe next week, game 2, which I think is against the Bills. So that'd be a
Bills.
good test as well.
I
Well, maybe
also
a
think
quarter.
good.
I was
Yeah,
say
I mean, I
maybe
don't
a
even know if it's
quarter.
even that long. Maybe just like one drive if it's decently long.
Hmm.
Case Keenum throws a dreadful interception.
Case Keenum. Oh,
We got a flag on the play. See what that does. Anyway, I also think you have to think about at some point. I guess let me put it this way: at some point, some coach is going to rethink the math on the 3 games. Like last year, we had 4, so it was a little different. But it used to be that fourth one was only like a week or whatever before the season, and you
yeah.
never play them. Now it's like 2 weeks. I think somebody, especially someone like Ben Johnson, might look at this and say, "No, you know what? I want to go ahead and play him some that last game because that's too big of a layoff otherwise, or something
Hmm.
like that, to where he ends up playing." But I think he needs the reps at some point in the preseason, and I'm okay with waiting based on the week they had. So maybe I'm meeting in the middle there. All
Okay.
right, to the game.
It was pass interference, by the way. It was
They
the
called a pass
flag
interference, so we're good.
on the Bears.
I mean, it looked weird. I was like, how did he just throw it right to him? And why is the receiver not? It was like a back shoulder, and the receiver wasn't there for it. Yeah, because he got
Yeah,
him bugged first.
he did.
Good job, refs. Also, loving the replay.
Ah, yes.
Let's go. Replay assist has gotten 2 calls right already this game.
Mm.
The broadcasts are going to have to catch up to this because they go to commercial, and that's like, sorry, just kidding. There's one
Uh
more
huh. Yeah,
play.
that happened on the face mask, right, in the first half.
And it
Yeah.
happened on the Luther Burden run out of bounds, which he
Mm.
played perfectly. Good job, Brooke.
Mm.
And they looked at it again and were like, yeah, there's a second. And then
Nice.
kicked the field goal, which
Long
would have
field
been,
goal.
which would be, if it was in a real game, a Cairo Santos personal record.
That's right, Cairo.
57 yards. 55 is his actual record.
After he's flying high after he won the last game of the year last year against the Pack.
That's
Screw the
right.
Pack.
Bears got to keep that undefeated and 25 record intact.
Yeah.
I mean, come on, second and
That's
third
right.
teams. So, what did
Yeah.
you think of the first half? I thought it was pretty fun, but more specifically, let's dive into some of the nitty gritty.
Sure. Yeah.
Who stood out that matters?
Burden, I thought
Burton had a
when.
nice little half.
Mm-hmm. I thought Bajan was okay, for backup.
More good than bad.
Solid.
He's a
More good than
perfectly
bad for
fine
sure.
backup. It's
Mm-hmm.
just some people can't leave it at that, and that makes
Yeah.
it a weird
Right.
experience.
Right.
Such as Jim Miller.
Oh yeah. You want to do that now, or
Yeah, let me let you have the rant. Do your thing. Listen, I get to where I'm like, just mute the guy when it's Collinsworth. I think he's pretty bad too. Some of the other ones you hate, I'm like, Chris, do you like any of the announcers? But I'm all here for it with the Jim Miller stuff because it's just every preseason. I'm like, what is he talking about? But go ahead.
Yeah. Well, first of all, I think Adam Amin does a really
He's
nice
awesome.
job. Yeah, I really like him. I don't know who the lady in the booth is. It sounded like
Stacey
Layla
Dale,
for a minute.
she's great too.
Okay.
She
Yeah.
did a big interview with Caleb the last
Okay.
week.
But yeah, Jim, he still acts like the patron saint of mediocre quarterbacks. Like he's got to have an excuse for why.
The
Quarter-
Teichler hot take is back. No,
Thank you. Yeah, that's right. No, but like there are a couple of high throws that he made that Miller said, "Oh, this is the NFL. You got to catch that. You got to come down with it." There was I can't remember who the receiver was, but the Dolphins defender got his arm right in front of the face of the receiver and knocked the ball. The ball went straight up in the air.
because the ball was a hair late.
Yes, yeah,
Because he doesn't have arm strength. That's the problem. If Bajan had
Mm,
arm strength, he would have been drafted like in the third round or something
yeah.
and playing elsewhere.
Hmm.
But the ball
Yeah.
gets there late because he doesn't have enough of an arm. and
So
then it's
it,
picked after it was
yeah,
tipped.
right, right,
But he
right.
blamed the receiver. He blamed Burden on the first one where it was tipped
Yeah.
up, but it's like, got to go up with two hands. I'm like, dude, if he goes up with two hands, he won't touch it at all.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like it was so high, it was great. I was surprised he got a hand on it at all.
And then on the touchdown, ooh, nice pass by Keenum
That was a
to
nice pass.
83. Is that still Willie
Some
Galt? Yeah.
83. That's all I
83.
needed to be.
And then on the touchdown, Miller's like, what a touch throw. When, I mean, yeah, it was a fine throw, but it was a much better catch by the
Yeah, it was like, hey,
receiver.
Alexander deserves the love there, though it was a nice
Tap the
play
feet
all
down,
around.
tap the feet down right in the
And
back
this
of the end
isn't to
zone.
throw shade at Bajan. I just think
No, no, not
as
at
a fan
all.
base, it's like, can we just acknowledge the limitations
Yes.
and praise the strengths? And Miller seems to just completely gloss over limitations.
He always
I do the
has, though,
same
with.
thing with Caleb. I worry about his processing. If he
Mhm.
doesn't pan out, it will be the processing because that's why we get the sacks and the indecisive stuff. And with
Um,
Bajent, you love his approach. He works his tail off. He's pretty clean on the procedure. I mean, I know they had the one shift. I don't know if that was on him or the tight end really on the goal line there. But the arm strength is not at an NFL starter's level. And I think at least a couple of those throws are that, indicative of that. And I don't know that your average fan really recognizes it as a slow ball because it doesn't really look it that much.
hmm
But the
Yeah,
timing's off because the ball is just a tick slower than when Caleb or somebody with a rocket throws it.
yeah. Maybe even Keenum. Yeah. Maybe Bajan's the guy looking outside in with Case Keenum on the roster now.
Well, if Keenum looks good, what would you take for Bajan? Like there are teams that desperately need QBs. I mean, the Saints,
Mm.
for example. Let's do the pipe. We'll set up former student Tim.
Former
Where's the
student Tim.
falsetto? He's off his game,
Sorry,
folks.
I was
There it is.
laughing. Sorry. Former student
What
Tim.
would
The
Bajan
new
get you in a
baby.
trade? And would you be interested in parlaying your undrafted free
Well,
agent into a mid-round pick, fourth round enough for you?
for Bajan? Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
I'm just throwing
But
out a random number without doing any homework on this.
I
But I'm just
think
saying, like, he's not here next year. It would be smart to actually get something for him while you could.
if you can get any draft pick for
If you
Bajan,
can, I should
if you
say.
could, yeah, if you could get
If.
any round, I would take it. I'd take a seventh round for
Is he
Bajan.
better than well, I guess the Saints are the next game, right? Is he better than who they're starting? Maybe.
I don't even know who they have right now.
But at the same time, if you're the Saints, you know you're rebuilding, why bother giving up a draft pick for Tyson Bagent? So I mean, this is probably not happening.
Yeah.
I'm simply making the point that he's a really quality backup,
Yes.
and you might have two of them because you also have Keenum. It's like, is there going to be a market? Probably not, but I would certainly be listening if there was.
So you can practice squad
And Jim
Bajan.
Miller would be like, "Oh my gosh, no. Oh,
Yeah.
just missed the
Un-
4th-and-1 conversion in the end zone to turn it over on downs."
Shoot.
Love that twice Ben Johnson has been like, "No, we're going for it on 4th."
Yeah, in preseason
You know why? Because
especially.
it's the preseason.
Exactly. Exactly.
Well, that's one reason.
There's no excuse not to in the preseason. Oh
Oh
yeah, I
man, he
just
had
saw
the
it.
feet down. He would have had it if he caught it. I was thinking he wouldn't be able to get his feet down.
Oh, we can't hear Miller's commentary on this. Shoot.
Yes.
Oh well.
What a
Here,
bummer.
well, let me tell you what really bothered me about Miller, though. It seems like just general landscape here. It seems like he's announcing for the meatball crowd, and he made a comment about. I heard the deadly phrase that I don't want to hear anymore with the Chicago Bears is complimentary football. It was sometime in the first quarter he made that comment about you. This is what you blah 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 for complimentary football. I don't want to hear about complimentary football anymore. You did not hire Ben Johnson to play complimentary football. You hired Ben Johnson to pound the other defense into submission and score a lot of points.
Yes.
So
I mean,
Jim, stop
be
doing
good.
this.
If see, the problem is what is actually embedded in the meaning of that phrase.
I know.
If the phrase simply meant be really good on both sides of the ball,
Yes.
sure, that's what
Yes.
the Eagles do, and the
That's
Chiefs
right.
and the Bills, and pick all the top teams.
Yes.
But they mean just barely kind of be halfway functional a few times a game on offense and let the defense do all the real work. And I hate
Mhm.
that. I'm
Agreed.
tired of watching that. And yet here we are after the couple weeks of training camp going, he looks pretty good. And I hate with everything in my being that I'm right back to, hey, is the D going to be really good this year? And I want the O to be really good. It's probably going to take some time. But
Mm-hmm.
I don't want them playing complimentary football. I want them tearing your throat out and going for the jugular and putting up
Yes.
35 and a half to end this game right
Yes.
here and now. And he's absolutely got that mentality. And I think as a leader, as as a culture setter, as the head coach with a really good staff he put in place, I think he has absolutely crushed it since he got hired.
Mm-hmm.
And we haven't even got to the part that he got hired because of the innovative play calling
Mm.
and
Mm-hmm.
the just expert play calling. And so like that's pretty cool.
Yeah. Yeah. I just don't want to hear the when I hear complimentary football, I think 23 to 20, 17-14. You know what I mean? 21-17 games where you just either get a field goal at the end to win or you stop the other team from kicking the game winning or game tying field goal. I don't want that. I want to win by double digits because I want the
Simple.
offense to be great and I want the defense to be great. I don't want the defense's role to set up field position for the offense. I mean, if that
Right.
happens, great.
Right.
But that's not what I want
They
the
have to quit playing the scared version of football that the good
yes.
teams quit doing 20 years ago.
Yes. Yes.
To
So,
me, Matt Eberflus's biggest flaw as a head coach was he coached scared.
mm,
Well, and he's a moron. I don't know.
I
That's a
was,
really
I
tough
was gonna
call.
say you
Which
got
ones
a
were,
couple options
as
there.
far as the ones that like, it was all it's
It
all
was all
problems.
problem.
Yeah.
That's the thing. All of these ghosts from the past with
And we
Fox
gotta
and
quit it. We
Eberflus and
gotta exercise
complimentary
these demons.
football and Dick Duran, Sky Point, even saying things like we chose to punt the ball to give for field position. Like what? Stop! No. Anyway.
And Ben Johnson would say, if I punt the ball, it's because it's unrealistic for me to make it, or we're too far back. If he's
Mm-hmm.
punting on 4th and 2 from like the 45, like
Yes.
he's not the guy I thought we hired. I don't know how else to even put
Uh
that.
huh.
Like
Yeah.
he's almost never going to do that.
We wanted to pin the defense back. No. Or pin their offense
And
back.
if he's not
Don't
going
want to do it
for it
anymore.
in 4th and 2 from the goal, he's not who I thought they hired because
Mm-hmm.
an aggressive coach says, "Well, we're going to score, and if we don't, they're pinned deep, and our defense will be fine."
Mm-hmm.
Right? A scared coach says, "Ooh, we should take the points."
Mm-hmm.
You should only take the points there if the game's tied and you're about to win it. You know, like
Mm-hmm.
always go for it there.
There there are times where that is
Just
appropriate,
about
yes.
always, I
Mm-hmm.
should say.
Yeah. Okay, I
But
got
we
that off
almost
my chest. Thank you.
inevitably saw the wrong thing. But also, if you're going to go for it, you have to have a good couple plays in your back pocket for it. That's what was good about Detroit. They went for it all the time, and they were awfully good at it.
Mm-hmm.
You can't go for it and then hand the ball to Doug Kramer. That's the wrong kind of trick play. Oh, if it goes to the
Womp
pass, they're
womp.
still here, Chris. Help me.
Yeah. Okay, thank you for letting me do my Jim Miller vent.
Okay. On to Chris Collinsworth. No, not
Oh
now.
gosh. Anyway,
Nope,
yeah.
nope. That was a joke. All right. Who stood out to you? Let's move on from the QBs and the coach, which are, of course, important. Oh, real quick before I forget, also got through the first half without any significant injuries. And that
Yes.
basically means you got through the game without any significant injuries because no one significant should be playing now.
Mm-hmm.
Major Burns, who got juked bad, has been ruled out. And Amin Agbamiga, shoulder.
Bamiga.
I know you've got that one. See, that's
Yeah.
your role here.
Amen.
And then Travis Homer Calf are questionable to return.
Okay.
So the number one thing we should have led with this, right? Like this is the number one thing every preseason. Get through it with your big guns still healthy and locked and
Mm-hmm.
loaded. And so
Mm-hmm.
far, so good. Knock on wood for the Bears.
You saw a nice sack from Booker.
Booker is a preseason demon, man. That guy killed it last year too. He
Mm-hmm.
had a great pursuit also.
And he's supposedly a little bigger, little stronger this year. So
Just keep him on in the rotation, use him
yeah.
sparingly, and let him keep getting better at his craft. He came out at 21, so you got some time.
Right,
Put him
yeah,
at
very young,
fourth.
very young.
If you're a good pass rush, he's fourth on that depth chart and able to give you a little push in certain scenarios.
Mm-hmm.
That said, I think he might be third, and that's like, man, they're still kind of light at that position.
Yeah.
It
Mm-hmm.
might be Dom Robb, who also had a sack and looks
Mm-hmm.
huge.
That's good.
See, I think Dennis Allen's going to run a bunch of packages when push comes to shove eventually. I don't know if they're ready yet, where Montez and Dexter are at tackle, or Montez and Grady Jarrett are at tackle, and he's got a couple of the other ends in,
Mm.
your NASCAR, I think that's what teams usually call it,
Huh.
on like obvious third and long type stuff.
Mm-hmm. I've not
Dennis
heard
Allen
NASCAR used for
loves to
that.
move guys around from what we're hearing, so that'll
Yeah.
be interesting. Montez is having a great camp too, by the way. Who else stood out for you from this first half?
Um.
I
There
have an
was
obvious one.
so many starters not playing that. Oh, you got an obvious one? Who's your obvious one?
Well, I got so the things that matter most are health and then rookies, young players, getting chances to get live reps, and I thought a couple of them came off pretty well.
Well, we mentioned Burden.
Kyle
Uh,
Monungai, six
oh
carries for 30
yes,
yards
Monunga. Yeah,
along a 13. Nice vision, and I'll go
yeah,
ahead and say it. I hope Swift is paying attention because Swift's a better athlete, but Monungai's vision
yeah. Helen
was
Keller
really,
vision
really
now.
visible to me, pun intended. And Swift killed me with that last year frequently.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it'd be
And
interesting.
Luther Burton, two catches on three targets, the throw that was high being the other target for 29 yards, and did a great job of situational awareness, scampering for the sideline to set up the field goal after the new best friend replay assist did its thing.
Mm-hmm.
So they both flashed a little bit, not a lot. And I thought Monungai kind of reminded me a little bit of like David Montgomery.
Hmm.
Man, I doubt he's that good, but for a seventh round pick, he's making this team,
Yeah, yeah. He
and
doesn't
he
go
might get
down
more
on.
carries than we thought initially.
Mm-hmm. Doesn't go down with initial contact. Seems to fall forward. Yeah.
Good
I,
vision, as we mentioned, and I have to say it, I don't like this part. We talked about the injuries being not a big factor so far, other than Jalen being out still, which I didn't mention. But
right.
Roshan Johnson came out of the practice early, and then yesterday the Bears hosted a bunch of running backs and signed a young one. And I have to
Uh
wonder if,
oh.
unfortunately, the perpetually injured Roshan Johnson has another injury, and I really hope it's not a concussion.
I was gonna say he's got the head injury history too. That's scary.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so I don't know. They don't have to tell us yet. I think maybe they will have to talk Monday or Tuesday. Maybe it'll come up then.
Mm.
But if Johnson's hurt, then Monungai is going to be your two for the running backs.
Probably. Yeah. I
Keenum
like that
sacked there, so
that
it
Olivia Munn
absolutely
guy.
worked.
Oh, Keenum got hit.
So it was good to see that Monungai had a good little bit of reps there. Ozzy Trapillo is in. That's probably the only guy
Mm.
worth paying attention the rest of this game. He might be your left tackle, and that brings me to Braxton Jones, who
Yeah.
played fine
Yeah.
until the touchdown rep. Oddly enough, the touchdown rep, he got
Ironically,
beat inside bad.
bad. Not even like
And
a.
it did. I didn't think it looked like a guy who looked right, like health wise. He didn't move his feet at all. He just lunged with his arm, which that's like the last thing you're coached to do.
Oh, okay.
So I don't know if he's still rounding into form, but that battle is going to go all of camp, I think, to figure out who the left tackle should be.
Yeah, and there wasn't on that play. There wasn't any kind of like the defender didn't do any swim move or
He just
any
went
juke or
inside.
anything like that. Yeah, just yeah, it was very easy, and luckily Bajent got rid of it, and great catch for the touchdown.
Nice
Yeah,
job by Bajan seeing it, by the way.
yeah,
He's
yeah.
pretty sharp on the mental stuff.
Yes, absolutely. I am glad he's our backup. I'm glad
Yeah, exactly.
if you're gonna have a backup, I'm glad it's him. So yeah.
Did you know his dad was a famous arm wrestler?
Really?
Yeah.
Wow, how have I not heard that?
By the way, I would just like to officially state the biggest reason to trade Bajan is to get his annoying dad out of the organization in any way, shape, or form.
Yeah,
He's
yeah.
so annoying. I'm
I
positive he's the
second
guy
that.
that was clowning on Williams midseason
Oh,
and all that
yes.
stuff. Where
Mm-hmm.
the locker room wants Bajent. Give me a break. Um, so other guys that stood out. I think I really only have the one left.
Who's
Noah
that?
Sewell, who
Oh, yeah,
might be
true.
your starting linebacker. Well, when they're actually not in nickel, which isn't probably going to be all that often. But third year player, that makes this a super important season.
Mm-hmm.
And had a couple tackles, a couple for a loss. I thought he played pretty well. He looks bigger. I don't really remember all that well, but he looked the part, I guess you could say.
Mm-hmm.
And if they're going to be counting on him, that's nice to see that, he played pretty well against Miami. And Miami played some ones, at least initially.
Yes, they did, including
So
Tua. Tua, they said was the first preseason game he ever played. Is that or started at
that's what
least?
they said, but I
Yeah,
think that yeah, I think they corrected it in the booth, but it wasn't clear. And then cousin Nate
cousin Nate.
texted me. He's like, I think it was first time he started, and they didn't like quite word it right because
Okay.
he came into the league. He wasn't a starter right away, right? So he would have played that first year some.
Mm, yeah, okay.
But point is, he hasn't played in years and got some reps. I wonder if it was because they looked so bad Friday and it like wasn't the plan, but like made them.
Yeah, perhaps.
By the way, did you hear what Ben Johnson's proposed punishment was for anyone who misbehaved,
No.
fought anybody Friday? He'd make him play the whole preseason game.
No, anything but that. No.
How many ways can this man tell us his view of the preseason?
Mhm. Yeah. Boy, I.
So someone called Dion Hankins, rookie out of Texas State, 24-year-old rookie, oof,
Mm,
has 5 carries for 24 yards this quarter for the Bears.
okay.
Their player I didn't know existed.
That's what
Take.
4.2 per carry.
Any
That's
thoughts on
okay.
how Colston Loveland looked?
I missed the first series, so I didn't get to see him.
Should have had 2 catches with a better ball.
Okay.
Um, Big dude though, like seeing him out there in the pads, I'm like, okay, you look the part.
Okay, nice.
Had a
Good to
great
know.
camp so far too.
Excellent. Is he gonna be tight end one, you think?
I think it's not going to matter as a designation very
Okay.
much. They'll be in 12 a fair bit. Komet's had a nice camp as well.
Yeah.
All the reporters are saying Loveland looks way more of the part, like athletically with the ball in his hand,
Mm-hmm.
which isn't too surprising. Komet's a nice, reliable vet, but he's not exactly dynamic with the rock.
Yeah.
Most of the time, I'm like, just fall down before you fumble, even though he's great at catching. Like if it's in the radius, he's got it.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, I think he was like best in the league at his catch percentage this last year, and that's why it's annoying when they forget about him. But Loveland looks much more dynamic. They got
Okay.
weapons.
Yeah. Yes, they do.
Just
Yes, they
gotta
do.
process it all.
I know it's hard to tell after one game, but is not much of a drop off from Keenan Allen to Burden? You think
I don't know yet.
too early?
I
Okay.
think the Keenan Allen we had was the quarterback's binky,
Hmm.
and I wonder if the real question isn't how much it'll do for Rome to not have Allen around. Because I remember last year, didn't we talk a few times about how it seemed like Rome was open, but he wasn't really looking that way?
Hmm. Yeah.
So they
Yeah.
got
That'll
the
be.
Bears are at a weird spot. They got a lot of breakout candidates. Things could go well. They could get sideways very easily. Ben's asking a lot out of everybody. I think it
Mhm.
could start a little slow as a result.
Yeah. I'm glad you said that. We need to be ready for that. That it might take 3, 4 games to. Oh, there's a nice defensive play there by whoever
That's what he
37 is. Yeah.
broke that up. They
Yeah.
just showed him he has such long hair. I still don't know his name.
Isn't it Flowers? Looks like
Flowers.
Flowers.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Anyway, what was I saying? Oh yeah, it could take 3, 4 weeks to really settle in. And don't we see every year generally the defense is always ahead of the offense in
Yeah, it's
general?
one of those cliches that we kind of eye roll, but like it seems to be happening all over, and it seems to happen every year. With us Bears fans, it's always hard for us to say because our offenses are always so bad anyway.
Yeah.
There's a tendency to be like, yeah, well, the offense will be fine. The defense is always ahead, and then you're like, the offense isn't fine.
Yeah. And
So
we're
I'm trying not to fall for that, but it sure seems like it's reasonable. And you remember the year when we first got Moore and all the camp reports, like Hogue and Johns and those guys were like, it looks really good whenever Fields is throwing it to DJ and bad when he's throwing it to anyone else.
yes, I
And I
do
was like,
remember
that's an
that.
interesting thing, kind of weird. And then it was like exactly what happened the whole stinking season. DJ Moore, 1,200 yards. Everyone else, 400.
Yeah.
It's like
Right. Right.
I don't
Yeah.
want to. I don't want to be a homer to the point that I dismiss this kind of stuff, and that's why pivoting back to Caleb, he's going to need to get
Oh,
some of the reps.
fumble!
Strip sack. Let's go. Ball number 2 for
Nice.
the Bears.
Bears.
Who got that?
57. Who's 57?
Oh man, that's our boy again, right? 94. Austin Booker,
Oh, Austin Booker.
preseason demon.
Nice. Yeah, he didn't come up with it, but he did the strip sack.
He does
Nice.
look bigger.
He does, yeah. Another thing about being prepared for, there's going to be a lot of national media dogging on Caleb and the offense because it's happening already. How many national stories were there after the first practice? Like, oh, Caleb didn't look good. So for some reason,
or the stupid thing with the net.
Oh yeah, and then he
which
threw
completely
a
ignores the other clip where he like crushed it. It's like, okay, just report both. That's all I'm asking.
I know.
Look, I'm sort of worried about certain things with Caleb that I wish I wasn't.
Sure.
I'll be honest. I would love to be like, I can't wait for year 2. Instead, I'm like, man, this is a big year, and I'm still excited about it. And I'm not down on him as a prospect, really. But the processing has to come along. The ball's got to come out more. The deep ball accuracy has to improve. He was really, really bad at that stuff last year. He just was, full stop. Stop making excuses, everyone. He was. He also set a Bears rookie passing record at 4,000 total yards and nearly almost a 4-to-1 TD to interception ratio, where some people are acting like he had 2,200 yards, 12 touchdowns, and 14 interceptions.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Like some of it is being really misconstrued at the same time that I have concerns. I think concerning the coaching situation he was in, there are still tons of room for optimism and tons of things to like about his game. The arm really is a rifle. He's made some really nifty throws in camp. He's had his good and bad days, as you might expect.
Yes.
There's still a ton of talent there, and I think finally he's in good hands. And we'll come back to this like every time we record.
Yeah.
It's going to take some time. We should return to the whole how long will it take when we do like the actual preseason predictions, final one before the regular season after the preseason's over pod. So we can kind of table that for now as we're up on the clock at this point. Bears with a 2nd and goal. Little sidearm from Case. Must have heard us talking about Caleb. And so patience is probably a virtue in this case that will be in short supply. But I'm going to try my best to have it.
Yeah, I just think Bears fans need to be ready for the, oh my gosh, Caleb, what's wrong with Caleb Williams from the media the moment that there's any kind of resistance or anything.
Can't wait.
There's still people out there who want to see him fail and think he's a diva because he paints his nails and cried in the stands. You know what I mean? So
Jordan Love was 1 for 5 or 1 for 6 last night. What's wrong with Jordan Love? I mean, none of this is worth doing that to any of these players, especially when it's not even the regular season.
Right. Agreed.
Also, I did enjoy seeing them get shellacked, though. 30 is funny. Yes. Can't tell me that's not funny.
It's beautiful. Yeah.
I know it doesn't matter. I still enjoyed this, looking up and seeing the score. So,
all right. I'm going to wrap it up.
Away.
Yeah, thanks everyone for listening to this episode of Barely Educated. We'll check in after the next game as well. Have a great week. Enjoy whatever it is you got going on this week. We'll talk to you next time. Bear down.
You have to understand how special it is to be a Chicago Bear.
The Bears are who we thought they were.
The Bears.
Bears.
I love the Bears.